Rainbooms of Royalty by Triniary. Chapter 33. Comfort of Friends. Rainbow Dash! Hey, Rainbow Dash! No sooner had the Pegasus in question returned to town than she found herself being tackled to the ground by a certain pink ball of vanity and sweets. Where have you been, Rainbow? We can't have a party without you. Grunting as she thought to get Pinky off of her, Rainbow retorted, She's Pinky! I just had to talk to some pony. She finally got back to her hose and shook the dust off of her coat. Looking around, she saw Applejack, Rarity, Twilight, and Fluttershy were with Pinky. What's up? Just wondering what's up with you, Applejack said. You okay, Sugar Cube? Rainbow was confused. Yeah, why wouldn't I be? Twilight shifted uncomfortably. Well, it's just that you've been through a lot lately, and when you left the party, we were worried about you. She added shyly. Rainbow Dash smiled. Normally, such sappy displays would have prompted her to roll her eyes or make a face, but she kind of liked it. It's cool. Thanks, everybody. We just want to make sure that you're okay. Fluttershy smiled gently from out behind her mane. You're our friend. Best friends forever, Rarity agreed, her eyes twinkling. To think, we all got our kitty marks after seeing your Sonic Rainboom. Giving a small but cocky grin, Rainbow winked. Yeah, I'm just that awesome. Careful. Your head might so big you'll go floating away. Applejack nudged her, chuckling. So, what's next? Next? What do you mean? Well, Applejack tilted her hat back. You came to Ponyville because you were having some sort of trouble with the princess, being compared to her. Now you've gone and helped save the world. I reckon that means your troubles are over, right? Rainbow's shoulders slumped. Oh. A.T. grimaced. Fluttershy gasped, holding her hose to her mouth. Oh my goodness, what happened? Groaning, Dash put a hoof to her face. Celestia and I just wanted to talk to her about why she didn't tell me any of this Nightmare Moon stuff, and, well, we started fighting. I started fighting. Twilight felt her jaw drop open. You had a fight with Princess Celestia? She exclaimed. Hey, it's not like it's illegal to have an argument with her or anything. Rainbow defended herself hastily. I just wanted to find out what she wouldn't tell me about Nightmare Moon until 5 minutes before she showed up. What does she tell you? Applejack asked Rainbow Dash curiously. Studying deeply, Rainbow Dash told him everything. As Celestia had known about the Sonic Rainboom, the connection had formed between the six, the return of Nightmare Moon, a reason Celestia hadn't confronted her directly, and the steps Celestia had taken to make sure Dash would be ready and able to handle it in the ensuing fight between the two of them. 5 sets of eyes met Rainbow Dash's own as she finished. Gracious! Rarity held a hoof to her cheek. Such a terrible rift to come between you two. Fluttershy gave Rainbow Dash a comforting nuzzle as Pinkie Pie pounced her from behind and wrapped her a big hug. Are you okay? Applejack gave the Pegasus a sympathetic look. Oh, shoot, Rainbow. I can understand why you're so upset. I know I'll hate it when ponies keep the truth their mind. She nudged Rainbow Dash. I suspect that's why I was so cross with you that you didn't tell us you were the princess's student. She shook her head. Come on, A.T. That was totally different, Dash protested. This was huge! I know, the cowpony said, placating her. My point is, while it hurts when ponies don't tell you the truth, I don't think you should let it get in the way of your relationship with the princess. Ain't nothing more important than family, you know. The princess is a part of yours. Aren't families supposed to trust each other? Rainbow retorted. She didn't trust me, and I don't know if I can trust her now, and everything's ruined, she said mournfully. A.T. put a hoof to her shoulder. Dias. The blue pony bit her lip. Why couldn't she trust me? Is it something I did? Is it something I said? Was I just not good enough? She blinked it rapidly, her eyes moist. Is there something wrong with me? Regardless of her reasons, Celestia's decision to not trust Rainbow Dash with the information of Nightmare Moon was interpreted as a lack of trust and a lack of faith. The idea that the pony who literally took Rainbow under her wing didn't have faith in her hurt. It chipped away at her own feeling of self-worth, left the Pegasus feeling very vulnerable. On the eve of her greatest triumph, she felt miserable because the one pony whose opinion she had valued the most had not seen fit to trust her. Aw, Dashie. Pinkie bit her lip as Fluttershy made to rest her head on Rainbow's shoulder. Sugar Cube. Applejack had a pained look on her face. Don't you get everybody like that? Twilight hesitated before hazarding an answer. Rainbow Dash, I don't know why the princess did everything she did, but maybe she wanted you to seek us out and become friends with us on your own. I mean, if the princess had come up to me and said that I had to meet some friends as some kind of order, I probably would have resented it a little, she admitted sheepishly. And whoever I was meeting, I guess. I mean, you can't become friends just because some pony told you to. It was meeting each other and going through everything we experienced that made us all friends. She smiled at her gently. It was all of us, being friends, to stop Nightmare Moon in the end. You did that yourself, bringing us all together. No, Pony, and nothing forced us to be friends with you. Not a royal order or a magical artifact. Just you. Really? Rainbow squeaked. Twilight nodded. Princess Celestia might have guided us and helped make sure we were in the right place at the right time. But everything after that, that was just us. We made the choices. We became friends, and we stopped Nightmare Moon. Nobody else did that. Not even Princess Celestia. Rainbow Dash smiled, feeling buoyed. Pinkie rubbed her chin with her hoof. What are you thinking, Pinkie dear? Verity asked. I was just thinking about the platypus. I mean, those things are so weird. It's like somebody just tossed a bunch of random parts of our different animals together to make an all new, seriously weird creature. I wonder if the presence of the platypus, or is it platypi, could be used to protect the downfall of order and the rise of chaos. Pinkie asked, her lip turning as she pondered. Rainbow Dash just looked at the pink girl's pony. I dare you to make less sense. Grinning patriotically, Pinkie gently mussed Rainbow's stain. Silly Dassy, of course I make sense. I make sense all the time, and sometimes even when I think deep thoughts. Thoughts so deep I need a settle to get to the bottom of them. Like, whether or not free will is an illusion, why Jimmy cracks corn if no pony cares, why is Michael Bay worse than George's Horsemaker, what, or where on earth is Carmen Sandiego? I thought a lot about you and the princess, Dassy, so let your Aunt Pinkie explain. But you're not! It was too late. Pinkie was on a roll. The thing is, Dassy, that just because some pony you love doesn't tell you something, doesn't mean he don't trust you. It's like how a mommy pony doesn't tell her daughter where feelings really come from, because she isn't ready to know when the filly spends the entire night waiting in the cabbage patch looking for Mr. Stork. Pinkie. Ooh! Or how parents don't want their foes to know when one of them isn't feeling well because they don't want you to feel sad and worried. But when you find out, you throw them a big party with lots of ice cream and cake. Then they tell you that Daddy wasn't feeling well because of all the cake he ate the last party you threw the day before. Pinkie Pie! Now sometimes then the trio race through a Tesla coil and the event horizon of a temporal quantum singularity can be used to rewrite the fabric of space and time so you can interact with a Tesseract field in order to power the flux capacitor to make Blueberry Jam. Pinkie Pie! Rainbow shouted, finally getting her attention. And more importantly, her silence. She panted. Can we not talk about this for a bit? Okay, Pete smiled. So, who's to have some fun? Dang, you're it! So Pete Rainbow playfully. Try and catch me, Slowpoke! Rainbow Dash bared a fierce competitive grin, more akin to the shark. Oh, you did not just say that! She zoomed off after the giggling pink blur. She was accompanied by the rest of her friends as they ran off, laughing like they were always meant to be together. Watching the 6 ponies as they ran, and playing in the Christmas of delight, illuminated all by moonlight and twinkling of fireflies, stood Princess Celestia. A sad, proud smile graced her muzzle as she watched her student and her friends. Much as Rainbow Dash had sought advice and comfort from her friends, so too had Princess Celestia. At her feet rested a reminder of the aid and wisdom Celestia had received from one of her ponies. It was a muffin. Chapter 34. The Princess and the Derp. Come on, is that all you guys have? Dash teased as she walked around her friends, who lay splayed out on the grass after their exhaustive game of tag. She tagged Pinkie no problem, and after a few rounds, had got into bragging that no pony would be able to tag her, even if she didn't fly. And in spite of all 5 of her friends trying their hardest to run Rainbow Dash to the ground, none succeeded. Her confidence feeling restored, and her adrenaline pumping after a good hour of chasing and running, Rainbow felt more like her old self. Any pony up for one last crown? A chorus of painful groans filled her ears, which only made her smile. As he'd been paying more attention, she might have noticed a sly look on Applejack's face, to say if she might have been trying her absolute hardest when she was chasing Rainbow. But the brass Pegasus was too happy to notice. Come on! She whined playfully. I need a real talent somewhere! Knock knock! Some pony gently rapped the top of her head. Hiya, Rainbow Dash! Tilting her head upwards, Dash came to face to upside down, the Dizzy Dew in her off-kilter eyes. Meep meep. She poked Rainbow's nose and flew away as fast as she could. Hey! Dash flapped her wings. See you later, guys! I gotta show Dizzy a thing or two! She soon doffed after the gray mare, Rainbow streaking behind her. Come back here, bubble butt! Dizzy was considered a pretty average flyer, and had a tendency to fall into a sort of sidestep as he flew. Of course, given her eye condition, it was impressive she could fly as well as she did. She managed to lead Rainbow Dash on a merry little chase through Ponyville, as she bobbed this way and that, flying like a dozy bumblebee. Of course, if Rainbow Dash really wanted to catch Dizzy, she was and that, as he said, been that. But she was interested in showing just what kind of somewhat scatterbrained mare was up to. The answer was not long in coming. Rainbow followed Dizzy as he made a sudden turn between two houses into a long alley. After turning around the bend, Rainbow Dash stopped short, coming a hair's breadth away from crashing into Princess Celestia. Whoa, 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 whoa! Dash panted, looking around for the errant male mare. No sign of her. Jeez, what are you doing here? Do you always hang out in dark alleys? A slight chuckle escaped from the princess's lips. I suppose there is a first time for everything. Yeah, sure. Rainbow rubbed the back of her head sheepishly. You wouldn't have happened to see a gray Pegasus fly past, would you? She was leading me right to you, wasn't she? Dash deadpan. Celestia nodded. And probably spoke to you earlier when I was talking with Luna, wasn't she? Another odd. Great, she face-huffed. In spite of it all, Celestia smiled. Your reasoning and deductive skills are much better than when we were before your classes. I'm proud of you. Yeah, it was kind of the fact that you have muffin crumbs on your face that gave it away, the younger mare admitted. I see. Celestia slowly dragged her hoof across her face, idly scrubbing muffin crumbs from around her mouth. Better? Dash nodded. An awkward silence fell between the two ponies as they fought to sought a way to fill it. Might I ask? The princess started hastily. What exactly is it with Miss Ditsy Dew and muffins? What's with you and cake? Rainbow countered. Celestia nodded. Ah, touche. All right, stick at the pleasantries. Rainbow Dash just decided to get things over with. What did you and Ditsy talk about? As if I couldn't guess. Muffins. Rainbow Dash blinked. No, seriously, what did you say? I suppose I should be more specific. I should say that Ditsy Dew talked about her muffin. Dinky. Rainbow's mouth formed a small O of realization. Closing her eyes gently, Celestia described the scene to her student. It was not long after Rainbow Dash's departure. The distraught Pegasus did not have the wherewithal to go back out among her celebrating subjects and affix her traditional serene visage that he'd come to expect from her. She just wanted to be alone. Fate, it seemed, had other plans. The door to the library swung open, accompanied by the sound of hooves gently clip-clopping on the wooden floor. Celestia turned to see a gray-coated Pegasus with a blonde mane and the most unique eyes. Seeing the Pegasus, he let out a little gasp. Oh my gosh! Your physicist! Your highness! Celestia raised a hoof, waiting for her company to fall silent. It's all right, Miss Dew, isn't it? Ditsy Dew? Gulping, the Pegasus nodded quickly. Please, be at ease. Can I help you? Actually... Ditsy tried to bring her left eye under control, as it started wobbling and veering off. I was wanting to ask you about that. The only indication Celestia gave for her surprise was a slight raising of one eyebrow. Oh? I saw Rainbow Dash flying away, and she looked upset, so I knew something was the matter. She was holding herself all wrong, all tense, angry, and sad. Ditsy bit her little lip gently. So I came by to see what was going on. You look sad, too. Do I? Celestia said evenly. Her regal face was on, giving the impression she was cool and collected. I thank you for your concern, my little pony, but I assure you I'm fine. But you have puffy eyes. Ditsy pointed with one hoof. Well, libraries can be dusty and make your eyes all wiry. I don't think that's why your eyes are like that. Celestia smiled sadly. Ditsy's vision might be impaired, but she could still see the truth when it was right in front of her. There's nothing you need to concern yourself with. Ditsy gave her a look. It wasn't the sort of look that Celestia was used to being on the receiving end of. It was the look she would give Rainbow Dash when it was obvious that whatever story she had come up wasn't fooling any pony. It was the look of a knowing mother, would neither be detected or deterred. Seeing no point in delaying the inevitable, the princess nodded. Very well, she yielded, sitting back down on the library floor. Dizzy gestured for Dizzy to do the same. Please, sit.
I may have trouble with that.
Dizzy said sheepishly, as he turned to give Celestia a look at her profile. Oh no. No, please. No, don't do this to me! Snuggling tightly on her back lay the little lavender gray unicorn filly, with a blonde mane like her mama's. She let out a sleepy murmur as she buried her snoot in her mother's mane, sighing contentedly. Ah! God! God! I hate it when you fix do this! Celestia smiled beneficently. Your daughter. Dizzy nodded, full of pride.
Dinky, my little muffin.
She gently brushed her daughter with one of her rings, as the watching alicorn fought to repress a smile at the most endearing turn she ever heard a parent call their foal. She's beautiful. Please, allow me. A faint aura surrounded the sleeping filly, as she was magically lifted off her mother's back, and gently deposited on the large pillow Celestia conjured seemingly from nowhere. Dinky, still asleep, snuggled up and curled up into a little ball. You and your husband must be very proud. Dizzy paused.
I am very proud, but...
She trailed off. Oh. Celestia caught on. My apologies. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable.
It's okay.
She flashed the princess a smile, brightening up.
As long as I have Dinky and her half-sister Sparkler, I've got everything I need.
She nodded.
In fact, I asked Rainbow Dash to be Dinky's godmother earlier.
Did you? What a wonderful thing to do. Celestia smiled as he looked at sleeping Dinky. I'm sure Rainbow Dash will be a wonderful godmother.
Huh. She's the best role model ever, right?
Dizzy blinked when Celestia didn't respond.
I meant you, Your Highness.
Celestia nodded vaguely. I understood. I'm just not as sure of that anymore.
Why not? You've been Rainbow Dash's mentor/teacher thingy since he was a filly, right? That's like being a second mom to her, and she's a good pony, so you must have been a good role model.
She smiled, pleased at her own logic. Contrary to popular belief, she was a clever pony. Celestia shook her head. I am no mother.
But Rainbow Dash acts like her mom, I think,
Dizzy visited. The princess looked at her thoughtfully.
You've known Rainbow Dash a long...
You have known Rainbow Dash a long time, have you not?
Uh-huh.
She nodded.
I was a counselor in training at the summer flight camp where she performed inside Rainboom. She was a really good friend, defending me against bullies and stuff.
Forgive me, but aren't you older than her?
Yeah, only by a few years, but I wasn't very good for sticking up for myself,
Dizzy admitted secretly.
A lot of the campers and other counselors' side was, well, they didn't like me much. But Rainbow Dash always stood up for me, telling the fillies and colts and even the counselors to leave me alone.
She flexed her wings for a moment, then folding it back against her side.
She was always pretty brave and a bit headstrong. Got herself into a lot of trouble. You know how it is.
Celestia chuckled. I do indeed. Dizzy smiled.
We had arguments. Big ones sometimes, when she didn't want to listen to me. Really, it was for good practice when I had Dinky. Even when my muffin gets upset with me, I know she still loves me. And at the end of the day, we always made up. Just like how I know you and Rainbow Dash will.
Our situations are not the same. Celestia pointed out gently. I am not her mother.
Oh, Dizzy frowned. So I guess you don't worry when Rainbow Dash isn't feeling well and take care of her when she's sick.
Shaking her head, Celestia sought to explain.
That isn't... You've never held her when she was scared or felt panic rising up on you when she was missing or got hurt, Dizzy pressed. Whenever she was sad, you never felt like you would have moved the sun just to make her day a little brighter. You never felt your tummy feel like ice when she was doing something dangerous, or felt a pit in her stomach when you was mad at you?
Celestia said nothing.
You take care of her when she's sick or hurt, comfort her when she needs it, take pride in her accomplishments, feel sad when she's sad, happy when she's happy.
Dizzy made her way over to the sleeping daughter, gently stroked the mane as she snored softly.
You say you are our mom, but you try to be a good role model for all ponies. You set rules, you try to teach them right from wrong, how they think for themselves, discipline them when they do something wrong. If you ask me, you're a mom. Just on a bigger scale. If you're a mom for all Equestria, then you are definitely a mom to Rainbow Dash.
Celestia paused, taking it in. She was she more of a friend or a mentor to the young princess? She wondered. She pictured Rainbow Dash in her mind, trying to capture what she felt like when she was around her. In her mind's eye, she saw Rainbow Dash's sky blue coat and wings. As she soared through the sky, and felt only pride. She saw Dash's namesake, rainbow mane and tail, brilliant and dazzling as the Pegasus cut straight through the air, leaving behind brightness and color, even on the grayest and darkest of days. Celestia only felt joy. She felt easy confidence. The daring and brassness that Rainbow Dash radiated, even when that confidence was misplaced or used as a shield. Celestia felt only sincerity. She heard Rainbow Dash's sandy, raspy voice, punctuated by the occasional cute little squeak, and felt comfort. Her eyes, which could be described as anything from pink to pinkish red, cerise or magenta, daring with determination, or growing wide with childlike wonder and excitement as she flew, or even talking about flying, something that never faded. Celestia only felt love. Perhaps she truly did think of Rainbow Dash as her daughter. After a long wait, Celestia dipped her head. You have a wise head atop your shoulder.
It's the muffins, Dizzy says solemnly. You make excellent brain food.
Yes. Celestia coughed. I'm sure. She joined Dizzy, gently stroking Dinky's mane. Even so, I am not simply a parental figure. I'm also a princess of Equestria. As such, I had to make choices. Choices Rainbow Dash resents me for. And I cannot say she is unjustified feeling that way. She looked at the gray Pegasus importantly. Have you ever hidden the truth from your daughter? For whatever reason, only to have her resent for you when the truth comes out? Shuffling hose was Ditsy's initial response.
Sometimes I don't tell Dinky when something happens at work, and my pay gets cut to take care of dances. She winced. I don't want her to worry about money, but I forget how smart she is sometimes.
Her shoulders slumped.
She usually figures it out when I don't bring home as many groceries, or work extra hours at my other job. Then she gets upset that I didn't tell her. She says I treated her like a baby and didn't trust her to be okay with it. She looked at Celestia. I guess as a mom, I want to protect Dizzy as much as I can. But I can't forget that just because she's young, doesn't mean she can't understand important things. She ends up feeling like I don't respect her, or trust her when I hide things like that from her. And that hurts her feelings.
Her face was mournful.
I try to not make her worry, but I end up making her worry more.
I understand. Celestia nodded, closing her eyes. But with the choices I made with Rainbow Dash, I made her call into question my faith in her maturity, her courage and loyalty, hurting her deeply. She let out a low sigh. Perhaps it is better that I not be a mother. How can I balance the love and needs for a single pony against the needs of all of Equestria? How could I let Rainbow Dash make all her own decisions, her own choices on what she does, when he has such repercussions for all of Equestria? If I had given her more choices before all of this happened, would she have made the choice freely? Or was it necessary that I maneuver her into position? Did I save Equestria, or take away one of my subjects' freedom? Dizzy rubbed one of her hooves against her leg awkwardly. This was a bit out of her depth.
I really don't know about any of that, Your Majesty. But what I do know is that even when I make a mistake and my muffin gets mad at me, it doesn't mean that I'm not her mom anymore and she isn't my daughter. It means I had to try harder to make things right. It isn't easy, but if you never do anything that's hard, the hard stuff never gets easier. She paused. If Rainbow Dash is going to be Dinky's godmom, then I'll bet she understand. Maybe it's sooner than you think. I'm going to go take Dinky home and put her to bed. I hope this was helpful and... Oh, yeah!
Dizzy dug around her saddlebag for something.
Here you go!
She offered the princess a muffin.
You can't be stabbed while eating a muffin. It's a rule.
Celestia took it, smiling politely. I'll be sure to add that to the canon of equestrian law. With that, Dizzy bowed, and gently scooped Dinky up and flew out the door, resolving to put Dinky to bed and then find a certain rainbow pony and the princess of the night as an idea struck her. Dizzy was gone, leaving the princess alone with her thoughts, and her muffin. As Celestia finished telling her story, she glanced a glance to see Rainbow Dash's correct reaction. The princess opened her mouth, scarcely knowing where to start. Turns out, though, no words were needed. Rainbow threw her hose around Celestia and pressed her face into her neck. Taking it aback, It was all Celestia could do to return her embrace, as the two held each other. In the darkest recesses of the night, love and hope burned bright. Chapter 35. The End. Are you sure you want to do this? Only a twist of her ears let Princess Celestia know that Rainbow Dash had hurt her. The two had spent most of the night enjoying each other's company, telling stories, laughing, crying, and working to repair the breach that had come between them. Dawn had came, and the two went before the two of them had finished. As afterwards, Rainbow Dash had built up the courage to tell Celestia her future plans. She nodded, after shaking out some stray thoughts. Yeah, I'm sure, the young Pegasus said at last. I mean, this isn't going to be forever. It's not like I can't come back and visit, maybe sleep over sometimes. If that's okay with you, I mean. Of course it is. Celestia walked over and gently nuzzled Rainbow's cheek. You'll always have a place and home in Canterlot with me, if you need never ask. Heh, thank you. Rainbow smiled back. Ponyville's just a short flight away. Besides, I figure you and Luna need some time to reconnect as sisters and stuff. Probably easier if I wasn't there. I think you underestimate yourself. But it's your decision to make. Celestia looked up at the city of Canterlot, clinging on the mountainside. On the other hand, I imagine that between you and Luna, the two of you would drive my long-suffering staff and guards to mutiny. Rainbow laughed. Don't worry. I'll be sure to stop by and teach Luna some modern-day pranks. She gave a wink that had any of Celestia's servants, staff, or guards been there to see it, they would have fainted dead away. For her heart, Celestia affected a look of mock horror, and made as if she were trembling in her horseshoes. The sight was so comical, it sent Rainbow Dash into peals of laughter, which made the princess smile and chuckle herself. Turning serious for a moment, Rainbow walked up and gently pressed her head against Celestia's side, not pulling away when the alicorn's wing draped it over her back, drawing her closer. Please don't feel sad. I just want to build up my rev for our own bit, go my own way, work on my routine out there in the wide open air, without worrying about clipping a wing on a tower or banner. Make sure that when the Wonderbolts start looking my way, they'll do it because I'm the Rainbow Dash! Not because of your connections to me, Celestia supplied. I understand. Dash gave an encouraging grin. It's a Pegasus thing, she shrugged. Wanted to leave the nest and fly solo for a while. But they always come back. Celestia smiled, feeling buoyed by the thought. It's fine, Rainbow Dash, truly. I'm so glad that you were able to make such wonderful friends here in Ponyville. Have you given any thought to where you will stay, though? Let's see. Between Applejack's farm, Fluttershy's cottage, and Ditsy's house, I think I have choices to spare. At least until I can put together a sweet cloud house of my own. Celestia nodded. I can arrange for you things to be brought to you, once you settled in. Is there anything else I can do? Biting her lip, Rainbow nodded. Yeah! Remember Fancy Pants' offer about watching the Wonderbolts from his box? I was thinking that maybe my friends and I could stop in now again to watch. Maybe even invite Tiffany and her crew. Serena, Starburst. No, not Sunburst, Starburst! Royal Blue, the lot. She looked like she had swallowed something that was decidedly unpleasant that was trying to crawl back up out of her mouth. Shoot, maybe even Minuet, Lemon Drops, Twinkle Sign, Lyra, and Moon Dancer. That sounds like a wonderful Chester. The princess nodded in approval. I'm very proud of you. Speaking of Moon Dancer, hey, Dash, I think you might want to check up on her. Might never know what bad might happen in this world with her. You might want to tell Twilight to check up on how she's doing. P.S. Guys, as far as I'm concerned, Equestria Girls is version here. Friendship games. This sounds like a wonderful Chester. Celestia nodded. I'm very proud of you. Well, don't go expecting me and Tiffany to become best friends or anything. I figured that I guess I should try and make up for, you know. If she still thinks I'm not worthy or whatever, no feathers off my wings. At the very least, I'm sure Fancy Pants will be grateful for your company, Celestia said diplomatically. Rainbow Dash nodded vaguely. It just thinks that Twilight will be back in Canterlot while the rest of us are out here, she mumbled. I don't want to leave her alone either, but you don't want to leave the rest of your friends. Celestia nodded understandingly. I think I may be able to be of some assistance. Looking up hopefully, Rainbow smiled eagerly. Really? Oh, yes. You see,
While I approve of you living in Ponyville, that does not mean your studies will be allowed to slacken. Since I will be remaining in Canterlot, it will be cumbersome for me to try to remain your teacher on a day-to-day level. However,
she smiled toothfully, making Rainbow Dash gulp nervously.
I may be able to delegate some of my duties to somebody else. A bright, talented, studious unicorn, for instance, who I'm sure will be acting her final examinations at the School for Gifted Unicorns in a matter of days.
Celestia tilted her eyebrows upwards.
I think Twilight Sparkle would make for an excellent teacher's aide and tutor for you while you're in Ponyville. Does he agree?
All right! Rainbow somersaulted in midair,
delighted the chance to keep the gang together.
Even if part of her groaned at the prospect of having the brainy unicorn put in charge of her studies.
Celestia smiled. I'm glad you feel that way. In addition to your normal studies, I would ask you to keep me posted about any findings you make as you and your friends explore the magic of friendship.
Rainbow Dash nodded, then paused. Are you sure Twilight will say yes? I really don't want you to force her to go if she doesn't want to, and I'm sure she'll miss her folks in shining armor. More sagely she added, I know I will.
It's all right. I will not make Twilight Sparkle choose something that she has not decided for herself. I'm really opening a door for her. The decision to go through will be hers and hers alone. That said, I'm rather confident she will say yes, having finally made friends after going so long without having any. I'm sure that Twilight will not want to lose her friends any more than you did. Celestia paused. In fact, if memory serves, the Ponyville Golden Oaks Library is currently unstaffed, something which I might suspect be the cause of its rather confusing shelving system. I'm sure I can arrange something with the mayor to give Twilight a home and a position in the library. Which reminds me.
So Princess gave Rainbow Dash a gentle look.
If you wish to live in Ponyville, you must become a contributing citizen. I cannot simply drop you off with a bag of bits.
Rainbow Dash groaned. Get a job? On top of my training and studies?
She nodded. Those are my terms.
Fine! Then her eyes lit up. Can you do me one last favor? It's not even so much for me.
Celestia listened as her son explained. She smiled naively. Done.
A sudden knock at the door caught Ditsy Doo in the middle of serving Dinky breakfast. So you guess that's why it was. Waffles!
When she saw who it was, her eyes lit up.
Rainbow Dash! Hi! Come on in!
Hey, Ditsy. Hey, Squirt. She mumbled as he briefly stepped in.
He sat around a mouthful of breakfast, waiting happily before reaching for a glass of milk.
Ditsy smiled. Cares to join us?
Rainbow nodded and sat down.
What brings you by?
She asked as she shut the door. Rainbow Dash smiled enigmatically.
Turns out I'm going to be staying in town for a while longer than I expected. Celestia's cool with me living in Ponyville.
Woo!
Dinky cheered. Her mother had told her that Rainbow Dash would be her godmom, and the little filly was excited.
You're singing! You're singing!
Ditsy smiled.
That's great news, Rainbow.
Yeah, and I got some more great news. The blue Pegasus screamed. Ditsy, you're fired.
Hooray! Wait, what?
The poor mare was thunderstruck, both by the news and the cheerful way that her friend delivered it.
Rainbow winked. Yep. Her smile was downright cherubic.
Dissy's face fell.
I'm going to be the new weatherman from Ponyville. I hear Cloud Kicker's on the weather team, right? Haven't seen her since flight camp.
Cloud Kicker!
She shrugged. Oh well. Guess the only thing left for you to do will be your mailmare stuff. Oh, and your new position in the weather office.
The poor gray mare looked even more confused than she normally did, blinking in puzzlement.
My new position? In the weather office?
That was actually a step up from her older job. Was she getting a promotion?
Oh yeah!
Dash shrugged nonchalantly.
They need somebody to be in charge of the paperwork. Requisition forms, weather reports. Pretty boring if you ask me. But I guess that's why it pays better than simply pushing a cloud around all day.
It does.
Dissy nodded numbly.
Yeah, like what? 2, maybe 3 times as much?
Rainbow tapped her huff against her chin.
Sounds about right to me. As long as the paperwork gets done, you could practically make your own hours.
Dissy's jaw dropped.
Normally, you'd still be out in the field, but I think we could swing it that I can cover most of your field work, more trading and pay for me, without cutting into your own paycheck. That is, if you think you'd be off!
She found herself knocked to the ground by the imposing clump of Dissy, who was on the verge of tears, thanking her profusely.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you!
Dizzy wrapped Rainbow Dash up in a mammoth hug that threatened to smother the younger Pegasus. Dinky, meanwhile, had left her seat at the table and landed on her mother's back, ending in a pile with a giggle. Rainbow Dash smiled but groaned under the weight. If this sort of thing kept up, it'd totally ruin her rep and her smile column. Oh well, maybe this wouldn't become a thing. Rainbow Dash! Thank you! Twilight squeezed in delight as she embraced her. Gah! Rainbow Dash replied eloquently as the air was forced from her lungs. It was a few days later. Celestia offered to Twilight, who had, as expected, aced her final examinations. Woo! Great job, Twilight! Had been gleefully accepted. Twilight's stuff was being delivered to her new home in place of appointment, the Golden Oaks Library. The rest of her friends were waiting just off to the side for them. Pinkie Pie bouncing in place as he finished up setting a
Look at the ponyfield field and housewarming party for the newest and most awesomest and fantabulous friends, Twilight Sparkle and Rainbow Dash
party. Shining Armor was there to see his little sister off. As happy and proud as he was for her, any pony watching could tell he was struggling not to tear up and hug Twilight tight and never let her go. The elder unicorn smiled at the sight of Twilight, jumping up and down for joy as he hugged Rainbow Dash around the neck, the latter's tongue lolling out as he gasped for breath. I'm so proud of you, Twilight, and you too, Dashy. He beamed proudly at the two younger ponies. I know the two of you would hit it off. Just glad you both managed to make some friends and get out of your ruts. A small hiss worked its way into his voice as he coughed the current out before he grinned to something bigger. Twilight, make sure to write. And I know you'll be tempted to just hold yourself up in your new library house. But just remember to put down the books and get outside now and then, okay? Remember to exercise and stay in shape. Not simply live off coffee and donuts like you did when you were studying. And remember not to drink too much water before bed. And Armor! Twilight stabbed her hoof adorably, blessing even as he tried not to cry at the prospect of saying goodbye.
I'm not a little filly. I'll be okay.
I know. Just take care of yourself. You must Twilight's maid. And keep an eye on this one for me. He nodded to Rainbow. Who knows what sort of mischief she'll get into when I'm not around to save her rump. Rainbow sorry incredulously, was prompted Twilight to giggle at her friend's put-out expression.
I will,
she promised, hugging her brother.
Love you, BBBFF.
Shining Armor leaned down, their horns touching as he hugged her back. Love you too, so much, he said, tightly holding her. Finally, he forced himself to let her go and turned to Rainbow Dash. You take care, Dashy. Remember, when you make it big, remember not to forget about his little ponies, right? He winked. Remember, me and the guards will be rooting for you. Always.
Thanks, Shiny.
Dash was touched as he walked over and hugged him.
Like I told Celestia, this isn't goodbye. I'll be back all the time, so you better watch your back.
He laughed. I'll make sure to do that. A small but proud smile worked its way across his muzzle. I better go before I ruin my captain of the Royal Guard vibe in front of every pony. But I want to see it again. I'm so proud of both of you. Keep in touch. Be there for each other and, well, no pony could ever ask for a better sister. Or pair of sisters. He had smiled warmly at Twilight and Rainbow. He gave Twilight one last hug and kiss on her forehead. Then he gave Rainbow Dash a hug as well. Just as he could practically melt into his fierce hug, her guard down. Shining Armor took the opportunity to plant the biggest, wettest, sloppiest kiss he could manage on her cheek, prompting a loud squeal from the startled Pegasus. Rainbow Dash's entire face lit up from a blush that went from pink to red to dark red to practically twilight-covered purple as she was torn between saying ew and exploding in delight. Her friends laughed at the delightful expression on her face. Shining Armor laughed gently and winked before Rainbow could decide whether to kiss him back or pummel him and made a quick retreat with his magic. Applejack, still chuckling, walked over and tossed a hoof across her back, steering Dash to the library. Come on, Circle Cube! Let's get you inside where it's nice and cool, before you have yourself a heat stroke. See right there. Or others. Ain't nothing that I'd do more than the bears of the little sister and friends. Am I right? A.T. raised her voice to make sure Big Macintosh, who had helped Twilight move her stuff in, heard her. The big red stallion chewed his wheat sprig, thought about it, then nodded. Yup. He nodded to Rainbow Dash, saying, Don't you be letting Applejack get under your skin.
What? Her?
As if! Rainbow's tone was dismissive. Big Mac shrugged languidly. Anyway, Miss Wise, welcome to Ponyville. If you ever need anything, feel free to stop by the farm. You hear? She nodded numbly.
I was surprised to find a normally turned pony saying so much to her at one time. It was almost like she blusted the possible explanations. She was just imagining things, right? Stupid shining armor putting such thoughts in her head. With one last nod, Big Magatow started back to Sweet Apple Acres. Despite herself, Rainbow Dash found herself watching him walk back until he turned a corner and was lost from sight. She turned back to her friends, only to find herself face to face with Applejack, a wicked gleam in her bright green eyes. What? I saw the way you were looking at my brother. She laughed lightly. First Twilight's brother, now mine. See, I knew you were angled to become part of the family. All you had to do was ask. What? Rainbow Dash felt a familiar hot flush on her face reheated. Oh, come on! That's totally not true! Sure, darling, well, you're sorry. AJ greeted, her tone clearly not believing. Sir, there's a perfectly good reason why you were watching my brother's backside. Quit it! Rainbow Esther, looking around to make sure no pony was listening. So, it is true! The farm pony snickered. Now I got to tell the gals. Twilight can put it in a lair for her brother. She darted for the library. What? Come on, AJ! Rainbow Dash pleaded before quickly zooming off, chuckling her before she got inside. The two started roughhousing before they were laughing as they did. It was left to Rarity to chiding them for their tomfoolery, who insisted on them coming inside and cleaning up before joining the party. Rainbow Dash and Applejack rolled their eyes, but came inside. It was a really great party. There was music, balloons, streamers, games, and treats. Rainbow Dash had been to a lot of parties in Canterlot, much fancier and larger than this small gathering of six in the library in a held-out tree. But he couldn't think of a single one more enjoyable than this. Every pony was delighted that she and Twilight were now permanent residents of Ponyville, and eagerly talked about all the things they could do now. Rarity guessed about how they could go to the spa together. Fireside suggested it might be nice to go on picnics and watch the birds and animals, if that was okay with every pony else. Applejack challenged Rainbow Dash to a number of schemes and challenges, all of which she eagerly accepted. Twilight gleefully proposed forming a book club, and Pinkie Pie talked, of course, of even more parties. At one point, Rainbow Dash found herself idly sipping some punch and reclining on the couch. It was there that she noticed something. It was the book that Celestia had planted in the library, for her to find and pulled out during their talk. The Elements of Harmony, a reference guide. Then all at once felt like a glamour had fallen away. Rainbow Dash realized that in all the excitement, chaos, and tension, she had completely forgotten something, or rather some pony, else. Strike that, some zebra. Sakura! She hadn't seen the cryptic zebra set Nightmare Moon's defeat, and the return of Princess Celestia. Celestia's plan had been for them to find a book. That meant she had not sent Sakura to help them, even though it was nice and cozy in the library. Rainbow Dash felt an icy chill run down her spine. If that was the case, then how does Sakura know about everything? Nightmare Moon, the Elements of Harmony! Rainbow Dash's eyes widened. Not only did Sakura know things that she had no conceivable way of knowing, but she had managed to carefully guide them along the way, without Princess Celestia ever knowing she was involved. Just who the heck was she? The end! And cue the end credits music! And as for me, ever since I started this fic, this is probably the first time we ever actually going to do a long-term pony fig review in the brand new studio. So, let's start it off. And I am so glad to do it with this one, because this is probably, of all the Ultiverse fics I've ever done and have ever read, and believe me, I have read enough that I have actually started my own library on it, on my account, and it is huge. Of all of them, this and the Luniverse have to go to war with which one is my favorite. It also depends on what day you catch me. Sometimes I prefer Luniverse, and sometimes I prefer this. It all depends on when you catch me. I want to start this off by talking about the feel of this fic. You see, as far as I'm concerned, every one of these alternate verses has some sort of feel to it. The Luniverse's feel is, of course, like a series in itself. Not necessarily a TV series, but more like a book series written by a whole bunch of different authors. Kind of like if you got a whole bunch of authors together and decided to write all about the adventures of Hogwarts. The Cadence verse is a musical. Mayhem verse feels like it's, some of those really upper house sitcoms that you sometimes watch where the guy or family has some sort of unbelievably nice apartment and they got all these people renting together into a small apartment, kind of like, even though I've never seen it, to put in best of terms, Friends. That's what it feels like. And Hasbro first just feels like the show with Hasbro team on it. So what's this one's feel? A movie. This feels like a genuine movie if you decided to make Rainbow Dash's entire adventure into a film. Yeah, I know, if you've combined all the parts together of these live reads, you would get longer than 90 minutes, so you get longer than even The Godfather. But hear me out on this. This feels like a movie because it doesn't feel like it's just a standalone episode. It feels like there's a story played across that you could see in 90 minutes or an hour or even 2 hours and just relax. That's what I mean, that this feels like a movie. An adventurous, long-form movie. And good golly, what a ride it has been for this. Both for reality and for this movie. I mean, for this fic, yeah, for doing the reading itself, I mean, we moved into a new studio, moved into a new house, and, oh boy, the move on there was extraneous. Oh, and I also went on a trip to Philadelphia. Which explains my very long-term absence. But this story, also a wild ride. I want to talk about how the characters acted and were presented, but there's really not much to say. It's the girls. It's the main six that we all know and love. Applejack. I think Rainbow Dash pointed out best when she was describing why she had to save the main six. Shoot, it's something that we all know. It's her discovery is the same thing that we've got. Applejack. She's stubborn, hard-headed, but in her is a strong sense of justice and the ability to stand for everybody else and desire to hold the world on her shoulders even though she doesn't have to. Pinkie Pie. Silly, goofy, but at the same time represents hope. Rarity, Lady, Dentylite, but don't underestimate her ability to leap into the fire to save you, or her desire to actually help you, not because she might, get a little something out of the deal, but it's because it's the right thing to do. Twilight, nerdy, OCD, shut-in. Yeah, she may have been presented as a little more in a shut-in than her canon form, but there's a reason. Her power overflowed. She went wild. So what had to happen? She became scared. She became frightened. But that's Twilight for you. If she didn't have Celestia at her side, if she didn't have a pony to tell her, no, you're not a monster, she's going to think, oh my gosh, what if the next time I overcharge? What's the next time I go wild? What if I turn into a huge gigantic monster? What if I end up blasting everything? What if I decide to turn into some sort of god being and overthrow Celestia? What if Twilight, settle down.
Yes, big brother.
Get my picture.
Fluttershy, soft and demure, kind and soft-hearted, but on the inside lies a heart that is as big and strong as any warrior. Rainbow Dash, loyal, but at the same time, while she has a giant ego, she also knows deep down that she has to try to prove herself worthy of that ego. She has a big view of herself, but she also fears that she can't live up to it. She fears that she can't be good enough. She fears that she can't match up to it. And those are always the best parts. What's more, always loyal to her ideals. And the side characters that are added to it, Sakura, Shining Armor, and Ditzy, only make the world more fully fleshed out and help to Rainbow Dash's character. Shining Armor becomes, this big brother mentor and sort of like a character do you want to see her try to get with? Ditsy, because his friendly support. And of course, Dinky, because it's adorable. I always love the idea of Rainbow Dash being Dinky's godmom. I have no idea why, but I tend to use that a lot in my stories. There, now that that side note has been cleared away. And of course, Sakura, well, this is her best appearance in any fanfic. Like, at all. I mean, I've seen her pop up a lot, and most of the time she just goes, "Hi, I'm Sakura, bye." Here it's like, well, somebody decided to take Sakura's character and amp up the awesome. And turn her into, well, for lack of a better term, turn her into a certain monkey from one of my favorite Disney films. Hey, you could! Rafiki! I just wanted to say hi. Trixie? Yes? I thought I told you to get the motion detector so we would know who keeps breaking into the studio. Well, excuse Trixie, but with the move, we had to skip on the budget. Aye. And, well, the plot just works so well. I mean, I feel like I almost have to do a real play-by-play of everything that works for the story. For instance, Rainbow Dash's reasoning for leaving, and her own going off on her own. It works so well for her character. Twilight, she had to leave because, well, she felt like she had to do this on her own. Because she felt, okay, I've been trained for this. I'm the princess's student. I don't need these other guys. Friendship is useless. I can handle this on my own without anybody else. Toodles! And that's Twilight for you. Rainbow Dash? Completely different. Because, here's the thing. This is what separates Rainbow Dash from everybody else. Rainbow Dash understands friendship. It's just that the ponies she met in Canterlot aren't exactly her type of friends. However, for her, she meets this team and goes, okay, I met these girls. I like them. They're my best friends now. I really care about them, but I have to do that so they don't get hurt. It's my responsibility to protect them. I have to be there for them and help them. This is my job, my responsibility. Partly because Rainbow's ego, she wants to make sure she does it. But this is also because of who Rainbow Dash is as an element bearer. She wants to be there to protect everyone. She wants to be there by every pony's side. So thus, she feels like she has to give some of herself and put herself onto the front line. Otherwise, somebody will get hurt. And she figures that's the best way. This leads me to the test, and I'm going to explain more about what's awesome about Rainbow Dash's test here in a minute. But each of the girls' tests, while different from there, felt so right. Pinkie Pie showed off her laughter by making sure that, well, we became brighter and happier. We got a lot more joys and made us look past our own faults and failures. It reminds us what laughter is all about. Hope in a time of darkness. Rarities, of course, was her giving of herself. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. Applejack, well, it was a strong sense of justice in showing off that, hey, I messed up, but I'm not going to hide it. And of course, Fluttershy and my screensaver just now showed little fighters holding adorable kittens. Had, well, probably one of the greatest cameos ever! I mean, shoot! Freaking gargoyles? Probably one of my favorite cartoons? Gargoyles? That's just awesome to see!
I couldn't help but imagine Keith David doing one of the voices, along with Brooklyn, and maybe Demona showed up in one of the scenes. It was just awesome! And the reason for how they popped up was better than of age. That was just an awesome way to see them appear. I approve! Beautiful! That was wonderful. And Twilight's was a basic magic, but it's kind of hard to show the close bonds, but, you know, in a way, we still show magic's alternate definition of being friendship. She did manage to free shining armor. And this brings us back to Das's test of loyalty, where we see Das's loyalty in not just her dedication to duty or dedication to her friends, but in all of her forms. Her loyalty to her ideals, which, I'm with Silver Quill on this, is always when we see Das at her best. When she is subscribed and loyal to the ideals of what you can be, and always willing to say, okay, this is what I believe you can be, now let's get to it! And willing to push you to become who she knows you can be. She's loyal to what she believes is right. I'm not going to betray Celestia. And she's loyal to her own self-worth. I'm not about to betray who I am just because my dreams are dangled right in front of me. And, of course, when Luna made that terrible choice, I loved every minute of it. Because, well, it's always that one message about how the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. But like Rainbow Dash said in the fic, if you keep sacrificing the few, you're not going to have many left. And we see that Rainbow Dash is willing to put her all. Why? Well, Rainbow Dash pointed out why you needed to save everybody. Because everybody's lives are important. You remove one life, then you technically ruin somebody's families and their friends' lives. And you remove a color from the rainbow. And that's how Dash felt. As he pointed out why each of these girls were great, why we stick with them, and why we stay here for so long. Because we love these characters at their heart. And Rainbow Dash shows off why she had to save them. Because they were all important to her. They all kept her up, and they all were necessary to make the world brighter. It was why we love these characters and why we stayed with them. Sure, sometimes the show writers can mess up. And sure, sometimes even the seasons can mess up. But nothing can change the fact that you love these characters at their heart. And nothing can change the character development you feel like they've gone through. You can just as easily say, oh, well, this is badly written. Oh, this was a poor character choice. I still love the character either way. Because you know what the character's meant to be, and that's what fanfics are for. And that is what this shows off beautifully. That there are more to these characters on the inside than just being, dainty and, oh, Alt V does fabulous. Or just, tune. That you need to be there by everybody's side. And I think that also brings up one of the better parts of the story is Celestia and Rainbow's mother-daughter relationship. And probably a really good scene here is Rainbow Dash and Celestia's discussion. Normally, I hate Celestia Bash fics. I really do. Because 9 times out of 10, they usually do it wrong by just saying, having Celestia be on the bad side and the other character on the right side, and no in between, and Celestia never gets a chance to defend herself. Which is kind of wrong, because all that ends up doing is making the character look like a jerk. And I end up not only disagreeing with you, all I'm thinking is, if you have time to bash, you have time to get off your flank and do something. Here, it's not like that, and I didn't get that feeling from this. I noticed that in the comments there was a nice little argument between them, and that is perfectly fine. Somebody once said
contrast to my favorite fanfic of all time, Fallout Equestria, that one of the signs of a great story is the ability to interpret whatever you want. And that's true here. For me, I feel like this was a genuine conversation between mother and daughter. And sadly, it was an emotional one. And unlike logic, you can't really deal with emotions as well. And that's what I feel like highlights the central conflict here between the two. You see, Twilight is not Rainbow Dash. Twilight would be able to see the logic of why Celestia would do what she did. And maybe Twilight would have had a conversation with Celestia, but then Twilight would just as easily go, okay, I understand. I see why it was better to handle it this way rather than that. And Twilight would actually think about it. Rainbow Dash is, and always will be, brash, hard-headed, headstrong, and kind of more emotional. And when you got that type of combination, you're not exactly going to have the best outcome for yourself. Sometimes you're going to have to start thinking about it. And that's what happened here. However, I love that both sides come off with their own reasonings. And you can look at both sides as either neither right nor either wrong. And you could pick a side. And that is what a good argument should have. You should actually be able to look at both sides and understand where they're coming from. If we're here, you can take either side. You would be right. You would be right. Because for some, Rainbow Dash is acting illogical. But she's acting emotional. Does that make it right? Rainbow Dash's feelings come from the fact that she feels betrayed. That this man she believed in said, I don't trust you enough. I don't feel like you can do this. Now, do not start pulling yourself off and do not start actually working and now go off and fight. Rainbow Dash feels like her dreams have been just waggled from her. Felt like she had been used and abused. However, Celestia's handling it also comes from a sound spot. As I pointed out back in my variation, in here, Celestia knows who she's dealing with. In the main verse, Twilight Sparkle. Can you imagine what would happen if she told Twilight to go find friends, redeem my sister? Well, first off, Twilight might start spazzing out. Second of all, we all know Celestia couldn't fight Luna. I'm a big brother. I know where she's coming from. If my little brother turned into an evil homicidal maniac, I know there's no way I could actually fight him. And I know what Celestia's probably thinking. 3 choices. Choice number 1. I fight my sister, I die. Choice 2. I fight my sister and I win. What next? Oh, I banish her. To where? The elements don't work for me anymore. I've been disconnected from the elements. I can feel it. There's no connection between me and them. I am currently elementless. So banish her to where? I can't turn her into stone without the elements. So where can I send her? And what then? Wait 1,000 years and do the whole dang process all over again? And then wait another 1,000? Another 1,000? Choice 3. I kill her. And that's something I cannot do. Basically, I always reminded of a certain line from Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Now hear me out! Even the worst movies have good lines. And in this case, it does. I really love the line where Raiden looks and says, I could not kill my brother back then. I couldn't possibly do it now. And that to me highlights the main point. She sends Twilight out and tells Twilight, hey, by the way, there's an evil coming in about a few years. Her name's Nightmare Moon. Go take care of her.
Twilight. Oh my gosh! What if I don't redeem her properly? What if I can't? Oh my gosh! What do I need? I need armies. I need weapons. No. What if they all fail? This is Nightmare Moon. Of course, he'll have experience. And what am I going to do if it doesn't work? What if I do? I fail. I'm going to die.
If she told Rainbow Dash that, Rainbow Dash would be dead, because Rainbow Dash would be flying headstrong, headlong, head first into danger, and then Nightmare Moon would end up snapping her neck. Yeah, I can see this not working well. Most importantly, it's as they said. In this fic, you can't force friendship. And that's what Rainbow Dash and Twilight would be trying to do. They would be trying to force friendship to go, okay, you, your kindness, you, your generosity, you, laughter, you, honesty, you, loyalty, and you, magic, you bring up the rear. It doesn't work that way. It never works that way, and all you're going to be left with are a bunch of stones and facing down the Nightmare Goddess and going, ah ha ha ha, oh boy.
This is not good.
This is why, again, going back to Rainbow Dash's moment, Rainbow Dash is probably one of the best moments ever. Flying straight on and showing off her bond, showing her deep connections. But Celestia again proves that, but I think the best part is how it illustrates what Celestia meant. She doesn't see Rainbow as a weapon. She always gave her a choice. It was always saying, look, Nightmare Moon was a goal, but it's not the end goal. I still wanted you to become your own mare, become who you wanted to be, and give you the tools to become who you are. And sometimes that's the way the best changers work. Well, this fanfic has and always will be one of my favorites. And there's a reason why it's on my top 12. It's been a hell of a ride for it. But I think we'll go. But right now, I think for the next few days, I feel like taking a break for some of the awesome epics. So I got a couple of one-shots planned. Starting off with, well, trailer! I've done many things, but my deepest regret is sending my little sister off. Embarrassing her. I wish I could do more. I wish there was something I could do for her. Coming soon. We present For Her, a Celestia story. Enjoy. See you next time.